Um, Neuroplasticity, you know what that is? It's like the more you do something, the more your brain gets wired in the direction.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right, right. So like I think that this is the ultimate hack in like life. Because if you know that you can like change your brain through like thoughts and behaviors, you can almost sculpt it in any direction you want.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like wouldn't that suggest that we're like, I mean, just like the name suggests, we're like plastic in that way, but we become so fixed in the way we like do things. We become like they say like, oh, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but it's like, no, you can, but like
Well,
you're
yeah. I
just
mean,
not
I think that uh, that's what do you call why we solve problems, right? The only way to solve problems is to have
mm,
a plasticity mind. Uh, If you are
right, right, right,
rigid, you can't ever solve problems.
right, totally, exactly, exactly. And it's like we almost forgot. It's one of those things that isn't being shared. Okay,
Hmm.
and I feel like there's so many things that are just stacked against us in a certain way that it's like we could be the most optimal human beings we can be if we just understood a few like if we really focused on not celebrating a small minority of human beings, which you've seen with the Epstein files, like the 1% with like billions of dollars and like all that stuff, and then the corruption that's there. But if you just like focused on each individual skill, or like you taught them in the correct way, like imagine the world that we could have. We wouldn't have like inertia. Like you're like, oh, I want to do this, but then you just don't do it, and you're like, why don't you do it? But it's like you're just like you're in inertia. You just don't want to move, but it's like you don't know the tools to move.
Hmm.
It's like, okay, like eat right.
Right.
Protein needs to be high. Like people are often like, oh, I'm sad. Like I felt that for so long, whereas like a gentle hum of like anxiety and depression, but it's like it wasn't like it's not like what people are like, oh, I'm depressed, but it's like a little hum that you're like, oh, that's kind of weird, and it kind of like fueled me to keep doing things because I was like trying to fight off that with like presence.
Hmm.
By doing like things that were interesting or fun, whereas other people can take it the wrong way and they're just like get sad. But then you find out it's like, okay, well, you're not sleeping because of like you're snoring, so you're not recovering, and then the cortisol is running through your body. So like I got the CPAP machine, and then it's like, okay, well, there's happy hormones, so if you eat protein, you actually increase your serotonin, so
Hmm.
you feel better. You know what I mean? And it's like, wait, that's all it is. It's just like a chemical factory. And then like, oh, if you want to learn this skill, you just gotta put in the XP points like a video game, and then like your brain will catch up.
Hmm.
Things will become easier, you know?
Right.
But it's like nobody taught us these things. Or like, oh, how come I have to work so long and like for like a terrible paycheck, and then it's like and then my bills are stacking up, and then it's like we can't even live in the correct way. Why are groceries so expensive? You know what I'm saying? It's like why is everything stacked against us? But it's like no, it doesn't have to be this way. We're
Hmm.
just enslaved to the system. Like I saw that this thing this morning was like, the system isn't corrupt, it was built this way. And I was like, oh my God, that's so real. You know?
Hmm. Right.
Yeah. Like you falling?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it's like a conspiracy, or like I'm fully on board that it's a conspiracy? Like even like Tara, because like, she could either become an MD, like medical doctor, or an ND. And then she's like, oh, I really like when she looked into both, she's like, I don't really like what they're doing with the medical system because like it's just like, you know, drugs and like you're not really solving the issue. And then like an ND, like for example, she had like eczema for her whole life, right, on her hands, and like she like wake up in the middle of the night, stuff like that. And then an, a normal doctor just gave her like cortisol cream. It was like
Hmm.
it'll just like go away. And then she went to I don't even know. Oh, they were an ND. Yeah, yeah. So she went to an ND, and then they did this like stomach kill protocol. She did it, and it's never come back.
Hmm.
And that was just food, bro. Do you remember she was doing that like no eggs, and she was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
were with us during that time, right?
Yeah.
And then she was so strict on that thing, and it just like reset her gut bacteria, and then now it's like no more eczema for the rest of her life.
Hmm.
But it's like, well, push the drugs, and it's like, why is it built in that way? You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Hmm.
And I'm just like, is this whole thing? a rigged system that we woke up into that we think is like freedom, but it's like you're free within a cage. What do you think?
Well, no, I don't think so.
You don't think it's this way?
No, 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 no. I don't think it's a rigged
Oh,
system. Because if it's a rigged system, you'd never have an ND.
okay, yes, yes, sure. So rigged in not like rigged, like you can never win, but rigged in terms of like, um, there's mechanisms in play for you to get extremely wealthy and extremely powerful, but you have to be corrupt. You know, like there are ways to do it, but it's not. It's like much harder. You know what I'm saying?
I I don't think it's like that. I think like it could be just over time. We mentioned before, like where I it's just over time things fall in certain directions because it was working that way, but not all
Okay.
cases can be solved in that direction, right?
Okay. Okay. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but with the Epstein files, I'm like, no, it really does seem like it's rigged. Only because,
Mm.
um, we'll get into it later, but like there's so many powerful people in there, and we know things about like how hemp was going to take over paper, and then instead of going with hemp, they created like this campaign over like weed, and then they made weed illegal, and then paper took
Sure.
over,
Yeah,
even
yeah,
though
yeah.
it's you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I mean. The rigging. It's like, bro, why are we not going the best product? Like there are people that literally invented cars that run off water, and like those people, their patents have been like hidden, purchased, and then like shelved or they've just been killed. And you see this in like the UFO space too. And you're just like, okay, I don't know if this is real, but now that there's like confirmation now, you know,
Hmm.
with these files is what I'm seeing. Cause I'm like, why are all the powerful people in here?
Which like all powerful people? We're talking about 100% of powerful people.
Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Bill Gates, Donald Trump, Woody Harrelson, Jay Z, Pusha T. I'm like, oh my God, bro, how far reaching is this thing? And like they said that that's not even all the files. So like those are some top players, bro. Bill Gates, he went through the whole remember, we gotta get vaccines out there. Oh, climate change is bad. And it's like, how do I trust you, bro? How do
Hmm.
I trust you now?
Sure.
So
Yeah,
like
yeah,
these
yeah.
people are the top movers, you know, culturally, technologically. So like that to me screamed like, and that's just what we found out so far, you know? And
Hmm.
what it seems like is like things have been manicured in a specific direction that gives more power to elites. George Bush is in there. You're like, what?
Hmm.
See what I mean? Like, the mayor of New York's mom was in there. She was like
Yeah.
attending these late night parties. You're like, bro, what are you saying?
Hmm.
You know, like that's why to me, I'm like, why do we have the world we live in? And you always kind of felt it like, oh, this feels kind of weird, you know? And then, for example, like I grew up and it was like, oh, when you're old, you're gonna have you're gonna have like diabetes and like heart disease no matter what. You know, like that's what I was told, like my parents, right? Like it's just inevitability. And then like terror becomes an ND and you're like, no, that's a lifestyle. Those two things are lifestyle,
Hmm.
you know? And then it's like, okay, so how do we fix it? Okay, just move in this manner. Oh, okay, cool. And then it's like, now it's not a problem. See what I mean? But it's like that became an accepted norm back then because you're like, well, that's just what people get. And that's why we have medication for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than optimizing for like the human experience.
Hmm.
And then the Rockefellers are in there. So you're just like, bro, what are we saying? You know, like the Rockefellers gave so much money towards educational systems.
Right.
So like, okay, so you don't think they're funding it in a way that's like, well, we can make a high return. You see the documentary, the docu series Dope Sick, and then you're
Hmm.
like, okay, well they're giving people drugs to make them addicted, and then they're selling like that at a high price, and then if they can't take it, then they turn to heroin.
Hmm.
They're like, okay, what are you guys doing, bro? You know what I mean? That's why, like to me, it's like it feels rigged.
Right.
But you still disagree, or
Like I don't know what that word means, rigged. Like I don't. People will play. I don't disagree with people trying to rig it for themselves. I don't think
Yeah.
it's like the system isn't rigged
No,
in
no.
that.
The system was built by those people, though. Who purchased these things? Like, who made these things propagated? Who
Mm-hmm.
made them powerful? Why is one drug selling over another drug?
Yeah.
That's the medical system.
Right.
That's who put the money in. So it's like, it's not like when I say rigged, it's like gamed. They sure gamed. The
Okay.
system is fully gamed in their favor.
Mm-hmm.